Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith and you're watching another What I'm Reading Right Now video here on the channel. This is the series where I talk about what I have been reading, what I'm currently reading, and what I shall be reading next. I don't have very many books to talk to you about because I'm falling behind a little bit. Let's not worry about it too much. Weekends have got busy. Christmas time, I always forget. It gets incredibly busy. I'm about to finish my current job and I'm very tired. And those are my excuses. But let's talk about what I have read, because I have read 3 things. I finished Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries. This was a reread in order to read Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. This is a light academia fantasy romance series that is a collection of diary entries. A scholar of fairy things, Emily Wilde. The first book is her going on an adventure to what is sort of fantasy Scandinavia. The second one is, oh come on brain, why have you gone from my brain? Why has the whole book disappeared? In the second book we follow Emily. Again, it's the same characters, but they go on an expedition to the Alps in order to do some more stuff that if I talked about it would spoil bits of book 1. I liked book 1 a lot more on a reread. I liked book 2 a lot more than book 1. I think it is just a better story. I found my main problem with the first book is I just kept feeling like things were getting jumped, and I think it's because of the diary entry format. It just means that obviously Emily's recollecting times and there's points where it's intentional that she's missed days or whatever for whatever reason. I just got really jumbled in book 1 and I didn't feel that way in book 2. Book 2 felt much more linear, which I appreciated. I like the diary entry aspect. I think I've seen it done better in something like, the obvious comparison for this is Lady Trent, where it's more about memoir, so you still get that continuous narrative, whereas the diary entry is so immediate that it just makes it, in my opinion, it makes it a little bit less cohesive and a bit more of a mess of a book, and I think that's most evident in the first book. I would actually read book 3 of this. I'm not going to rush out to buy book 2 anytime soon. Book 1 that I have is a review copy, but I think it is worth getting from the library. It's an enjoyable time if you like this sort of book. I think what's really interesting to me is that I came round on the romance. I really didn't like the romance in the first one, which, when a book is a romance book, that's fairly fundamental. I think knowing who the romantic lead was in book 1 was hugely helpful, because previously I didn't get on with him as a romantic lead, but when I knew that was going to happen, I could get over it. I think it doesn't help, and this is maybe a personal preference thing, but the romantic lead's name is Wendell, and I don't find that a particularly romantic name. And I'm so sorry to everyone out there who's called Wendell, but I don't think you're the hero of a romance novel. So how I solved that problem is I just substituted that name for something else in my head. The other book that I have finished, I wish it were more books, but alas it is only one more, is Heartsong by TJ Klune. This is TJ Klune's werewolf romance series, Green Creek. We have had Wolf Song, Raven Song, this is Heartsong, the next one is called Brother Song? I think? Possibly. Anyway, I read Heartsong, I liked it a lot. I think my big thing with this Green Creek series is it's a lot of putting the romance at the front half of the book and then having a lot of dramatic plot stuff towards the end, and I wish it was slightly more balanced, because it does just make the first half of the book incredibly heavy. Not necessarily slow, but incredibly heavy, because ooh, do these werewolves have a terrible time for a lot of chunks of this book. A lot of the romances are very tragic. In this one we have a I'm trying to think how to not spoil the earlier books. It's sort of a memory loss, rediscovering your found family kind of story, which I like. A lot of these books tie back to found family, as does a lot of TJ Klune's work. I enjoyed reading this, I won't lie. I don't think it's going to be for everyone. I don't think this series is for everyone. I think I've got much happier, cozier romance books that I would recommend, and also I'm not necessarily the best judge of specifically werewolf romance, because I'm aware that is a whole entity that I don't intend to touch anytime soon. It's not for me as a thing I want to dive into much more. But overall, I had a good time with this, and so much so that rather than looking at my intense list of things I still have to read this week, which I don't want to think about too hard because it's already Wednesday and I know I'm busy this weekend, but we'll keep going. I did actually pick up the next book, which isn't technically out yet in terms of the release schedule for these new covers. Right, so these originally self-published or indie published, then Tor bought them and they're bringing them out. They've got up to Heartsong. Brother Song exists on my library's ebook app for free, so I'm reading it now because I want to know what happens with this particular plotline, and I'm about a third of the way into that, I think, at this point, and I'm really enjoying it. I think just when I'm in the mood for like angsty, cheesy werewolf romance, these are what I want. I don't know what to tell you. I do think the cover is funny. A lot of people have pointed out it looks like the wolf is doing a wee on the cover. I actually think that might be what it is, now that I've read some of the book. I don't know for sure. So yes, those are my current reads. It's been Faeries, and then immediately into werewolf romance and nothing else. I did at least appreciate that one of the characters in book 3, I think, called out how gay this werewolf pack is, and I appreciated someone saying it. Not in a bad way, but it's just very funny to me how many of these brothers ended up being gay. I say that coming from a very fruity family, but hey. Haven't done any more reading of the Fabric book, haven't done any more audiobook of the audiobook I was working on. Shh. I don't want to talk about it, it's embarrassing. But speaking of embarrassing, let's look at what I still have to read this week. Nettle and Bone is a hangover from last week. I will try and pick this up immediately after finishing Werewolves. I also have The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I'm going to try and get to this weekend. I feel like it's a perfect weekend read. I'd love to get to it. Prayer for the Crown Shy, a novella. I should be able to read this. I'm gonna try. And The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. I need to read for Overbooked. And also River of Silver, which I really thought I owned. I really thought I had a digital copy of it, and I don't, so I'm gonna have to buy that, which is frustrating because I don't like buying books in December. But I'm going to. I will buy it. Did I have an audiobook? I don't remember. I mean, all I can say is thank goodness it's technically my off week next week, so I don't have any books scheduled, because I'm gonna have to push all of this into next week as well and just actually try and read. New things that have been brought to my TBR this week. I have A Letter to the Luminous Deep by Sylvie Cattrall? I'm going to say it's probably Sylvie Cattrall. This is the ARC copy. This is an epistolary romance novel, an enchanting debut, an epistolary romance between two scholars that will take you to the depths of the magical sea, perfect for readers who enjoyed Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and A Marvellous Light. And I did like both of those. Marvellous Light I enjoyed much more, but I'm interested to see how this goes. This actually came, I don't have it up here with me because it's downstairs in the kitchen, but it came with a little vial of loose leaf tea, which is very lovely. As someone who enjoys loose leaf tea, I will be enjoying it. And the only other thing I have is a library book. This is Juliette Marillier's Heart's Blood, which was recommended to me by one of my patrons in our weekly live stream last week. I will try and read it. I have until Christmas, basically, until that's due back in the library. So I've got a bit of time. But I do intend to read it because I like my patrons and they tend to give me very good book recommendations. As we power through to the end of the year, I'm not anticipating many books to come in that aren't big new releases for next year. I don't think there are any more sci-fi new releases that I'm looking forward to until January, when there are loads of them, but that's by the by. I'm just trying to focus up. I'm trying to get to the end of my job. I have 1 week left today, so by the time you're watching this I only have 3 days left, so I know it's going to be an intense race to the finish line to get everything I need to get done, but I am excited. And then I'm going to focus on getting all my end of year stuff filmed, because I've got top books for the year, new releases for next year. I want to talk about my reading goal and how I felt about that in the last year. I'm looking forward to it, but it is, we'll see how we go. Right, I need to get this edited, otherwise it's not going to go up. So if you're watching this, you'll know that I've managed it. I hope you've had a really wonderful week. Let me know what you've been reading down in the comments below. While you're commenting, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. You can also come hang out on Discord, where we have chill chats about books. I'd like to say an enormous thank you to all the ghosts who haunt me over on Patreon. They support the channel and in return get early access to videos, bonus content, access to my weekly live streams, and more. If you'd like to join their number, that's linked below as well. Thank you so much to you for watching. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one. Have I had hair in my eye this whole time? Oh, never mind. It's gonna be some bloopers now. Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. Let's move the microphone closer. Let's just do it. Let's live our life. Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith, and you're watching another episode. Nope. As we channel people.